You turn a handle. A stream of crystal clear water appears. You drink it without a second thought. This simple act connects you to one of the greatest, most invisible triumphs in human history. It is a convenience born from a colossal, hidden machine. A system of unimaginable scale and complexity. It runs on physics, chemistry, and immense political will. This is the story of that machine. And the secret, unending battle fought for your tap. Our story begins with an ancient ambition. The Roman Empire needed water. Its capital city was the largest in the world. Its citizens demanded baths, fountains, and running water. The solution was an engineering marvel. The aqueduct. Great stone channels, built on impossible gradients. They stretched for miles across the landscape. They carried millions of gallons of water into the heart of the city. The Romans were masters of civil engineering. They understood gravity. They understood hydraulics. But they did not understand the invisible enemy lurking within the water itself. For all their genius, they could only move water. They could not truly tame it. When Rome fell, its aqueducts crumbled. Europe entered an age of profound ignorance. For 1,000 years, the secret of clean water was lost. Cities grew again. The Industrial Revolution began. London swelled into a sprawling, chaotic metropolis. Millions of people packed into tight quarters. And they produced a staggering amount of waste. Every home had a cesspit. Or it simply emptied into the street. All of it eventually found its way into the River Thames. The river became a graveyard. An open sewer flowing through the city's center. The smell was legendary. They called it the Great Stink. But the smell was not the deadliest threat. An invisible killer stalked the city's water pumps. Cholera. It was a terrifying disease. Victims could die within hours. The medical establishment was baffled. They blamed miasma. A mysterious, foul air rising from the filth. But one man was not convinced. Dr. John Snow. He was a physician with a radical idea. He believed the disease was not in the air. It was in the water. He began to map the deaths. He walked the streets of Soho during a brutal outbreak. He marked each victim's home on a map. A clear pattern emerged. The deaths were clustered around a single water pump. The Broad Street Pump. Snow persuaded the local council to remove the pump's handle. The outbreak almost immediately stopped. It was a revolutionary discovery. A turning point for civilization. The enemy had a face. It lived in the water. Humanity now knew what it was fighting against. This new knowledge sparked a revolution. A sanitary revolution. The challenge was immense. How do you re-engineer an entire city? The answer came from one man. Joseph Bazalgette. He was the chief engineer for London's Metropolitan Board of Works. His plan was audacious. It was almost unthinkable in its scale. He would not just replace the city's sewers. He would build an entirely new system underneath them. A network of huge, intercepting sewers. These were massive brick tunnels. They ran parallel to the river. They would catch the city's waste before it reached the Thames. Gravity would carry it eastward. To the edge of the city. There, colossal steam-powered pumping stations would lift the sewage. It would be discharged into the river far downstream. Bazalgette's system was a masterpiece of Victorian engineering. It took decades to build. It used 318 million bricks. It excavated 3.5 million cubic yards of earth. It saved London. It became the blueprint for every modern city in the world. In the 20th century, the battle shifted. It was no longer just about removing waste. It was about finding enough water in the first place. This was the challenge of the American West. A vast, arid landscape. Cities like Los Angeles were booming. But they were built in a desert. They were dying of thirst. A new kind of engineering was needed. Not of brick tunnels, but of concrete megastructures. The age of the great dams had begun. The Hoover Dam rose from the Black Canyon. A curving wall of solid concrete. It was the largest structure of its kind ever built. It tamed the wild Colorado River. It created Lake Mead, the largest reservoir in the United States. The dam was a symbol of raw power. A testament to human ambition to control nature itself. But the dam was only the beginning. The captured water had to travel. This required a new kind of aqueduct. Not a stone channel powered by gravity. But an artificial river, powered by electricity. The California Aqueduct. A 700-kilometer system of canals, tunnels, and pipelines. It carries water from the mountains of Northern California. It flows to the bone-dry south. The system performs an incredible feat. It uses massive pumps to lift water nearly 2,000 feet over a mountain range. It is the largest water conveyance system in the world. A project born of immense political negotiation and staggering public investment. It was a critical decision. To reshape the geography of an entire state. To make the desert bloom. These projects showed that the battle for water was now also a battle of economics and policy. A fight for control over a finite resource. A struggle that defines geopolitics to this day. Today, the battle has moved to the molecular level. It is fought inside massive, anonymous buildings on the edge of your city. This is a modern water treatment plant. And this is the journey of a single drop. It begins in a reservoir. The water here is raw. It contains silt, algae, bacteria, and viruses. It is piped into the plant. The first step is clarification. A process called coagulation and flocculation. Chemicals, like aluminum sulfate, are added to the water. They act like magnets. They cause the tiny, suspended particles to clump together. These clumps are called floc. The water then flows into vast, still basins. This is sedimentation. Gravity takes over. The heavy floc slowly sinks to the bottom. It forms a layer of sludge, which is removed. The water is now much clearer. But it is not yet clean. It moves to the next stage. Filtration. The water passes through layers of sand, gravel, and activated carbon. This process mimics the natural purification of a riverbed. It physically screens out even smaller particles. The activated carbon is key. It has a massive surface area. It adsorbs dissolved organic compounds. The things that cause bad tastes and odors. The water is now visually pristine. But the most dangerous enemies are still present. They are invisible. Bacteria and viruses. The final, most critical step is disinfection. A dose of chlorine is added. Chlorine is a powerful oxidizing agent. It destroys the cell walls of microorganisms. It kills them. This single innovation, the chlorination of drinking water, is considered one of the greatest public health achievements of the 20th century. After this chemical assault, the water is finally safe. It enters the distribution network. A maze of pressurized pipes beneath your feet. It is ready for your tap. But the journey is only half over. You use the water. It goes down the drain. It is now called wastewater. It carries the biological and chemical footprint of an entire city. It cannot simply be dumped. It begins a second journey. To a wastewater treatment plant. This is the unsung hero of the modern metropolis. The first stage is primary treatment. The water passes through large screens. They remove debris like plastic and paper. It then flows into settling tanks. Just like in the drinking water plant. Heavy solids sink to the bottom. Grease and oil float to the top. Both are skimmed off. The water then moves to secondary treatment. This is the biological heart of the plant. The water enters huge aeration tanks. Air is bubbled through it. This creates the perfect environment for a culture of microorganisms. A carefully managed ecosystem of good bacteria. These bacteria consume the dissolved organic matter in the wastewater. They eat the human waste. They eat the food scraps. It is a natural process, supercharged by engineering. After several hours, the water flows into final clarifying tanks. Here, the bacteria themselves settle out. They are removed from the clean water. In many places, the process ends here. The water is clean enough to be returned to a river or the ocean. But in areas of water stress, there is one more step. Tertiary treatment. This is the advanced level. It uses sophisticated methods to polish the water. It can involve passing the water through more filters. It can use powerful UV light to sterilize any remaining microbes. It removes specific nutrients, like nitrogen and phosphorus, that can harm aquatic ecosystems. The result is called reclaimed water. It is so clean it can be used for agriculture or industrial processes. In some advanced plants, it is pure enough to be put back into the drinking water supply. This is the ultimate closed loop. The final victory in the battle against waste. From waste, back to water. The system is a triumph. But the battle is not over. It is constant. The vast networks built by our grandparents are now aging. Pipes are cracking. Water mains are breaking. The cost of repair and replacement is astronomical. It is a quiet crisis, happening out of sight. At the same time, new challenges emerge. Climate change threatens our water sources. Persistent chemical pollutants challenge our treatment methods. The future of water will be defined by new innovations. Smart grids with thousands of sensors. They will monitor pressure and flow. They will detect leaks in real time. Desalination plants will get more efficient. They will turn the endless ocean into a source of life for coastal cities. And water reclamation will become common. The idea of waste will disappear. So the next time you turn the handle, remember the silent war. The secret battle. Fought by engineers in the past. Fought by scientists in the present. It is fought with concrete and steel. It is fought with chemistry and biology. It is the invisible, unending effort that holds our world together. One drop at a time.